jumping to the present time, what do you think in the future, Web 2.0 or whatever the present time, what does it look like?
Well, here's one characteristic. Already in 2013, the amount of information that is flowing over the internet between machines and devices far exceeds the amount of information going from one person to others. And the machines are becoming progressively more intelligent. I have a whole section in the book on artificial intelligence and the philosophical debates about where that's going. But whatever school of thought you buy into, and I have my own, I've placed my own bets here, it's undeniably true that we are now in an era where tools extend not only our physical capabilities to grip and lift and locomote, but also our cognitive abilities. And as we artificially extend into machines and thinking machines, our cognitive abilities, that is bringing about a transformation of kind, not only degree. And it has tremendous economic implications. The traditional analysis of economic theory is that production results from three factors of production: labor, capital, natural resources. And the ratio of income produced from that activity has been a focus of struggle. Organized labor, the battles over policy, partly was between capital and labor. But now with the advanced automation that is connected to the global mind, capital can be invested in ways that not only add to labor productivity, but replace labor productivity in a way that Ned Ludd could never have imagined. We often learn things that were true in the past and we assume they're true in the future, and sometimes they're not. The Luddite fallacy, Ned Ludd, weaver in the 16th century, saw the new looms, going to replace a lot of jobs for weavers, let's bust them up, we're not going to have this. He was wrong. And for several hundred years, we've repeatedly received evidence from the economy that more automation doesn't destroy jobs, it actually just creates new jobs. But change is not only linear, exponential change and emergent change can produce different effects. We are now in the steep part of a curve where advanced automation is concerned. One quick example, there's a new algorithm that some law firms are using that, when used by a first-year associate, can empower that first-year law associate to do more work than 500 first-year associates could do in the past, with more accuracy and higher output. And that sounds incredible. It is credible. And we're seeing that we used to think this would affect blue-collar jobs, repetitive work where the programmers could teach the machine these things. No longer. It is now in white-collar jobs. I ran across this guy who has a company called Narrative Science. There are many examples of this, but he's replacing journalists with algorithms. And there are many examples of what he does, but they will take the box scores of high school athletic events and put it into the algorithm with verbs and hooks and phrases, and it's a complex process, but they will spit out a newspaper story that goes out and is printed in all the newspapers in that county and around. And they can do it with financial reports and so forth. It's only one of many examples of how things that we used to associate with higher education, greater training, we would have jobs that would be safe. Now that's being changed. And as these intelligent devices and machines are connected around the world, it really is having a major effect. And China and India, by the way, you know, Foxconn, which is one of the firms that produces Apple products, they just announced last year that they're installing 2 million robots in the next 3 years. Well, jobs that have been replaced in the United States and industrial countries by automation, now that's going to emerging economies. What happens? The consumer-driven economy that has been in place since the first part of the 20th century, some would say even longer than that, if the people who made Henry Ford's cars didn't make enough money to buy the cars, then would the cars have, how would the economy work? Now the replacement of those income streams for middle income families is going to be a challenge. We need more public goods, and there are other answers, but it's not an easy challenge to solve.